The other day, I shared top amigurumi trends, but today I want to talk about something that matters a lot more long term. What I'd actually do differently if I was starting my crochet business right now. I've been doing a crochet business, my business, for a long time now. And what I've really learned is that this isn't about regret. This is really about getting clarity. And so if you're newer, this might save you time. Like if you're just starting your business, hopefully this information is going to make some sense to you. And you can use what I've done in the past and the mistakes that I've made. You can use them and not make those same mistakes. I've spent a lot of time thinking that I need to appeal to everybody. And the truth is, when you try to make things for everyone, no one really feels like it's for them. So, this first point is talking about niching down. And a lot of people struggle with this. They think that getting a niche, having a niche is quite limiting. But I've actually found the opposite. You know that I work with lots of women who are opening their own businesses. And a couple of the women that I work with are opening counseling practices. And this is exactly what they've struggled with, this whole idea around niching. They have a passion around helping a certain demographic or people that have dealt with certain traumas. For instance, there's one who is working specifically with people who are veterinarian professionals. So, working around that trauma. Another person is working with people that have suffered sports injuries. So, how does that impact person's sense of identity? So, when I first started working with them, they were quite unsure about saying that that is their focus. That's what they want to niche down and really focus on. But what we found is that, like, the market's pretty saturated, and as it is with crochet, finding your niche, like really picking that niche, it was kind of a relief to go with what they are passionate about. So a niche is talking about it has to do with language, it has to do with your audience and your confidence, and for instance, my amigurumi, you know that I work a lot of recognizable characters. That is definitely part of my niche. It took me a while to sort of just say, okay, I'm just going to do this because I was really trying to appeal to a wider audience. But now I understand what, what turns my wheels and what I really value and what I enjoy doing. And that's like, I've got to have that. And you have to have that. We have to have that in our life. And if we're going to have a business, we need to bring that energy into the business. We need to enjoy what we're doing. So having a niche is an okay thing to do. I definitely would niche sooner if I could do it again. And I would trust that if I could do it again. And this next one is actually where I see a lot of people burn out. So if I could start over again, I would stop chasing every platform. I wouldn't try to be everywhere. You don't need to have TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, email, Facebook, Reddit, like you name it. You don't need to have those all at once. That is horribly overwhelming. But what you can do is figure out where people actually are already, which platform has the most followers, or where do you get the best engagement, and stick with that for now. Go where your people already are, and be consistent. Consistency beats novelty, and this is another sort of hard lesson that I've had. I really like to produce a lot of pieces, and novelty is really important to me. And I kind of felt like that's what I needed to deliver to my audience. But actually, my audience is knows that I'm human, and they're okay with me not producing. They're okay with me just being consistent and showing up and saying, "Hi, how's it going?" Keeping people up to date. You can grow quietly and still grow well. And if you've ever felt behind because you're not doing all the things, you're not alone. I caution the women that I work with around this because it's really easy to compare yourself to others. If you see somebody who's what you think they're doing better, or they're producing more, or they are getting more sales. I mean, we all start somewhere. So that comparison piece, I know we all do it. I guess it's natural. Acknowledge it, but move on. Like, don't get on that bus. It's going to crash. It's not a good place. It's not a good bus to be on. Focus on your journey. Focus on where you want to go and look at how far you've already come. The third thing I would do differently is I would separate my worth from my output much earlier. Handmade spaces have a productivity problem. We quietly tie our value to how much we make, how often we post, and how fast we release. This is exhausting and overwhelming and unsustainable. There's a whole idea about being creative versus being a content machine. And this is very real, especially in this day and age. And it goes back to what we were talking about before with comparing and looking at, other people's output. Well, you're not the same as someone else, and that someone else has different skills, a different skill set. Maybe they have different support or help. There's lots of reasons why people are in different spaces. Again, it's not helpful to compare yourself, and you don't have to be a content machine. Longevity actually comes from sustainability. Setting yourself up to do too much or overproduce or over deliver, all of those things, again, those are not sustainable. They don't produce longevity. They will burn you out. And I've seen people leave because of exactly that. For me, I had to differentiate my love for crochet and my desire to grow my business. My love for crochet was the bigger priority, and I had to figure out a way to protect that, which I feel like I have, but it's taken a long time. I've worked on protecting that love for crochet, focusing on what I love to do with the craft, and working on that. So I always have a list of things that I want to do, and I stay to that list, but I have in the past strayed from that list. So, and we've talked about this before. When I first started working within this realm, I was doing a lot of custom orders. I was writing patterns for magazines that I wasn't like passionate about those patterns, and I definitely was not passionate about the custom orders. But I could see the value in doing those things, and I really worked to maintain a balance between those sort of pieces that had uh, outside expectations tied to them. I kept those balanced with the pieces that actually really filled my soul. You're allowed to build a business that doesn't consume you. So, again, none of these were mistakes. They're just lessons that you can borrow instead of making the same mistakes as me. And I'm really curious, if you're already running a crochet or handmade business, what would you do differently? Like, how long have you been doing what you're doing? And is there anything that you would do differently? And, eh, you know, let us know, because we can all learn from each other. This channel is as much about conversation as it is about the tutorials. In the next video, I'm going to be bridging what I would actually do differently if I were starting over. So, what I would focus on first, because most people aren't stuck because they're lazy or untalented, they're stuck because they're overwhelmed. Tune in next time. Have a wonderful day, and see you again. Bye.